but the episode that we did for New Year's, the live episode that we did for New Year's.
Okay.
I think we've both kind of been like, I don't remember exactly what our New Year's resolution was, but it was kind of like,
I think mine was like,
you said you want to get shredded.
yeah, I
and
want to
quit being a piece of shit.
Yeah, I think I said, and Dakota was here.
Yeah.
Right.
I've been kind of like taking it to heart. Like I'm into like, I guess you could call it self-help, but it's
self-betterment.
Self-betterment. I mean, I was going to say like podcast genre stuff. You know what I mean?
I'm not a big podcast guy.
You're just talking on one.
I'm just here for the fucking monsters.
Well, when you get on there and you try to learn life lessons and things like that, I feel like I'd always listen to them, but I wouldn't really incorporate them.
Like life hacks and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I never really did any of them. So this year I've been actually trying to do something.
Right.
And I think self-mastery is kind of the thing I'm into.
What? Can you define that?
Yeah, I think it's
I know we talked about it a little bit before and I had questions. So if you could like...
It's kind of like the stoicism.
I'm sorry, what?
Like stoicism.
Is that's a thing?
Yeah.
I'm a dumb fireman. You gotta...
I think the biggest part of it is like controlling your emotions.
Okay.
Is the biggest thing. And
I do that with Lexapro.
Yeah, right. Which I don't know exactly how I would define it, but I think I was always worried about coming off as an imposter when I would talk about it.
Okay.
But then I think I'm finally realizing that it's actually realizing that you know nothing and you're working on it every single day.
I think it's okay. Like, I hope that everybody at some point has some sort of imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Because like, if you don't,
right.
You know, I
then you're kind of just like a pompous asshole.
Yeah, I think so.
And I actually watched something recently on imposter syndrome.
Okay.
And the guy, his name's Alex Hermosi.
Okay.
And he's like owns a bunch of businesses and does like this kind of stuff and seems pretty into it. But he said, maybe you have imposter syndrome because you're an imposter, because you know. And that's what got me thinking like, you can fake it. And even if you see success, it's not going to feel the same because you know.
Right. You know.
And if you go to do a presentation on something and you go, oh man, I feel like an imposter. And people are like, everyone gets like that, dude.
Right. Right.
But the reason you feel that way is because maybe you are.
I get that.
You know, you're not confident because you haven't done the thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that can be with anything.
Yeah.
You know, we talk.
And you don't feel bad about, most people wouldn't feel bad about, I wouldn't call it bragging, but saying they did something if they know they did it.
Right.
Because you know. And that's the whole, it ties back into the self-mastery thing is, you have to live with yourself. You wake up and look at yourself in the mirror.
You're like, oh, I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah. And I've kind of been jealous of people that have had a skill or seem like an expert in something.
Uh-huh.
And I'm kind of wondering like, where do I start?
Right.
As far as like a craft.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the most obvious thing is like yourself.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean?
And I too have been I've been an imposter. Not so much like, but I totally get that now, what you're saying. Like, so we all know that I'm like the researcher, right? Like I try to research I want to know a little bit about everything, but I feel like I've mastered nothing.
That's exactly how I feel.
You know, but I still think it's valuable.
Yeah.
Because that's just not necessarily that I want to be an expert in everything, but if there's something that I don't know, I want to know how it works.
Right.
Or how it ticks. That's why I'm like, I try to fix all my own stuff at my house. And now that you have YouTube, you can do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
do you ever get jealous of the people that are like like bona fiable, like an expert? Or do you feel like they've wasted their time? I guess
I don't know that
we'll define expert, I
Okay.
guess. Like a master plumber. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't really get jealous because I also know.
I'm not saying you're jealous of plumbing, but I just the fact that you can be called an expert in something.
Not really, because, and I wouldn't say that I'm an expert in anything. I think there's things that I'm good at.
Mm-hmm.
Like when it comes to my job, like there are certain things that I feel that I'm very proficient at.
Because you've done it.
Because I've done it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know what kind of road and how long that took to become not a master and expert, but really good at something.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I guess I don't get jealous because I know that person actually put the time in.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people can just be gifted, I guess, at some things, but you're not going to be gifted at plumbing.
Yeah.
Or you're not going to be gifted at being a paramedic or a fireman.
You have to put the work in.
You have to put the work in. So I'm not jealous of those people.
I guess I'll reframe it. I'm not jealous that I don't think they got there by mistake, or I'm jealous that they found something to put 100% of their energy into.
Right.
Because I'm the same way you are. I get kind of like sidetracked.
The ADD, man.
Yeah, I get like so many different things interest me that I've kind of scratched the surface at a lot of things.
For sure.
But when somebody asks me about it, expecting me to know everything about it, I just don't.
Dude, it's just like it's like the music. I relate that to my music. When you said like you scratched the surface on everything, I literally listen to everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? You look at like my hard drives and stuff from all the music that I had over the years. Like I listen. Okay, somebody's gonna call me out on a genre.
You don't listen to K-pop.
I don't listen to K-pop, but like it's very vast. But yeah, I've never been a hardcore like I love this band. I only listen to this band. You know what I mean? But
right.
I know that's kind of not as deep as where you're going, but it just kind of popped into my head like, oh, I've done this and this and this. But
yeah.
But even with other things that we've done, like, trying to think back of what I've, we got into reloading, right? We started scratching the surface on reloading. We got all the equipment. I was researching.
I want to get back to it. But
definitely something you want to get, but you or I are both not master reloaders. Right.
Yeah.
We made ammo and it functioned well, but still there's so many more things that you don't know about that. Mm-hmm. But getting back to you were kind of like, you wanted to be health or just mainly health or just like
just
you in
encompassing the whole thing. I think health is like the gateway.
Sure.
But the thing that's awesome about self-mastery is like for reloading, it takes time out of your day. I have to do this. For yourself, you wake up with yourself every day.
Right.
So I think it's kind of odd how we can go from, I need to put more time into this thing. When I get the time, I'm going to make the time. But we wake up in the same body every day.
Right. You're always with yourself.
Yeah.
And
like I said, you can tell everybody else. That's the thing. Nobody's impressed by all the weight you say you're going to lose.
Sure.
Right.
For sure.
Because when you say that and then you wake up with yourself and don't do anything about it,
Right. Well, and I feel we're talking about being an imposter and me being a researcher. And, this last year with my fitness, getting better journey, I almost kind of, not that I shy away from giving people advice. I think I used to a lot more back in the day because there was all these fad diets, right?
Yeah.
I call them fad diets. I think they work, but, keto and the Whole30 and, the juice diet, I don't know, whatever's out there, say I was doing them for that month and like, oh yeah, I lost 20 pounds in a month. And then you're like, oh, you got to do X, Y, and Z. Like now I'm just like, and I don't know why. I think I do know why it wasn't as prevalent that it's all, it's all, what do they call it? Thermodynamics.
Mm-hmm.
And it's calories in versus calories out. It doesn't matter. Like I think Sam Sulek one time said you can eat 2,000 calories of Skittles and still lose weight as long as you're eating it under that. You know what I mean? It's seriously
I don't understand why I don't want to break off into rants about
that's
that,
fine.
but
That's
I don't understand why there's so much pushback with that. And it's like, yeah, but my aunt lost 20 pounds with keto.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, and your aunt gained it all back, didn't she? Because you can't eat bacon and mayonnaise every single day.
Yeah.
As much as it sounds
let's be
good.
real. Most people that are doing keto aren't doing real keto, right?
No, they're not doing real keto, but here's the thing. If being in ketosis works for you, it works for you.
Right.
And I'm right with you on the advice thing, because also I feel like you waste your time, because people don't want to, if people want to get in shape before the summer and then go hog wild, there's no point in talking to them.
For sure.
Because it's a quick fix, and it sounds so damn cliche to do the whole lifestyle thing, but until you wake up one day and change.
Right.
And that's another thing as far as the self-mastery thing. And I don't mean it as like I'm done with people, but I'm not wasting my time trying to change people
for sure
anymore.
No, for sure. Because ultimately they have to want it.
They have to want it.
They have to do it themselves.
Mm-hmm. The time and energy and resources could be better spent just making an example.
Well, and that's
in yourself than lecturing people
that's
about.
That's kind of the way that I feel now. Like, because I'm down 55.
Well, you tell me.
Pounds, something like that.
You look good, by the way.
Thank you. Let me get an accurate number here. 56. Sorry. As of this morning, down 56 pounds.
Awesome, dude.
I feel great, by the way. But hold on. Brain fart. What the hell were we talking about?
Kind
of showing people. So yeah,
sending examples.
I see the people around me and they talk about these diets and that diet's like, instead of offering hey, this is what you need to do. Like, just set an example. Like, I feel better about setting an example and then keeping track of myself. Because you're right. It's not that it's not worth the energy, but if you just keep grinding and doing what you're doing, like, then people might be like, hey,
show proof.
Right.
It's like
here's your receipts.
Yeah.
Because that's why I felt like an imposter. Like, I would do a fad diet for a month and lose 20 pounds. And then I never stuck with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But now that I've kept that consistency, and even I just got back from Florida. I went on vacation. I gained 4 freaking pounds, but now
it's not bad at all.
But I'm back in it. You know what I mean? Like, and I think you do need kind of those resets sometimes. Not that.
Were you looking forward to just getting back to the grind though?
Kind of, yeah. I was.
Does it kind of like normal? Like, you feel like everything is like homeostasis?
It was kind of more normal, yeah. Now, granted, I had an ear injury when I was in Florida. I felt miserable.
Yeah.
What are they? Barotrauma, I think is what they call that. Yeah, blew out my.
I hate bears.
You hate bears. Oh. Kind of felt miserable, but I also didn't go buck wild when I was in Florida either. Like, I definitely splurged. Drank a little bit, but it wasn't. Yeah. I wasn't back to my old roots. You know what I mean?
Right.
I didn't drink a bottle of whiskey.
Where you feel like you're missing out on something if you don't cram as much stuff into your mouth as possible.
Because
that's a weird mindset to get out of, isn't it?
Dude, I'll tell you what. Once you, I would always just pack the food in, right? Like, I'm stuffed.
Yeah.
I hate feeling stuffed anymore.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like absolute shit.
Yeah.
It's almost as bad as waking up with a hangover. Like, you're just like, right. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or what, it sucks.
I think you just woke up one day and you were tired of it. And then it just seems.
And I think, there was lots of days that I was tired of it.
You probably just accepted at the time. You accepted
Dude,
that's what life was.
It's kind of like just
It's pacifying, almost.
hanging out at status quo.
Yeah.
Have
you ever heard the term "kill your clone"?
Kill your clone?
Yeah, I heard this a few weeks ago. Actually, the guy,
I might have.
Ethan Suplee guy, the actor from Boy Meets World, the big guy.
That guy. Yeah.
He's involved with some company where the thing is "kill your clone," and he has it on a T-shirt and stuff.
Okay.
And the whole concept is every day you destroy that old version of yourself, even just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like make him unrecognizable, kill your clone.
And that dude is unrecognizable.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything about his journey, but I know what he looked like before and I know what he looks like now. And he did it.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
And his whole thing is not, isn't once I lose this weight, I'll be good. Then I can do whatever you want. I think that's the pitfall people get into. They picture themselves and they're like, I'm going to get there. And they like romanticize what it's going to be like. I've certainly done it when I'm fit and in shape, but here in a few weeks, I'm going to start that. It'll probably take me, I'll do like a P90X and I'll be there.
Right.
And then maybe people do get there.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, then I can party. Well, then no, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
You just have to find that balance every day and be comfortable with just getting better 1% every day.
For sure.
And then before you know it, you're where you wanted to be.
Yeah.
And then you'll have something else to bitch about.
When you say like where you want to be, and like I said, I've lost 56 pounds now. And people are like, oh, well, are you at your goal weight? Or I don't have a goal weight.
Yeah.
And I've thought to myself, well, what is my, I don't know. But I don't want to, like you said, I don't want to just be like, all right, I'm here.
Yeah. You don't want to throw a pizza party because you
Let's
lost 50
have a pizza
pounds.
party and get wild. You know what I mean?
So I think this goes back to like the self-mastery of just being better every day and just.
It's all about consistency,
But weren't you tired of those tropes when you were trying to lose weight and it didn't work? Yeah. It's just consistency. It's a lifestyle. And you're just like, dude, I just want to lose some weight. Like, shut up.
Well, yeah, you just want it. And it's definitely a marathon and there was even times like, when I'm going or whatever. And there was definitely times you're like, you felt good. You were feeling better, but you didn't really notice it.
Mm-hmm.
And even still now, like I don't really notice it as much now. Granted, I know I have a lot more weight to lose. But it's just, I don't know. It's weird. I think people realize it more than you realize it.
Mm-hmm. That's another thing I think is a huge part of self-mastery is delayed gratification, or just realizing that it's okay to be unhappy now.
Yeah.
To get what you want later.
Right. It's definitely not and I think we've talked about this before on other podcasts, is that instant, everybody now in this generation wants the instant gratification, like right the fuck now.
Right. It's a pitfall.
Yeah. And I think that's probably why most, like, I was probably just like everybody else. You're on a fad diet for a month.
Well, it's not, it's dieting and it's everything.
Or
it's
whatever.
not, I mean, it's not just dieting, but it's.
Yeah. Like
it's literally everything.
Everything, even being a plumber or our jobs,
Mm-hmm.
You're on the job for a month, you're doing really well. And then checking out, riding the recliner for the next 25 years,
and it's just, it's hard to break that. It's hard to like get out of the funk, but you need to start somewhere. Just getting yourself out of that funk is a huge deal.
For sure. And I hate to keep boasting about like my hormones and stuff, but honestly, I think that was a huge key for me.
Even if, let's just say that it, just for argumentative sake, that maybe, this is just my guess, this is what I think, maybe the hormone thing had a like profound change on how you felt, but it was also that first step that you took that was, I'm working on me. So what if it didn't change? It probably did, but what if it didn't change anything physically?
I don't know.
But just the act of you, I'm going to the doctor. I'm changing this.
Right.
What else can I do to be better? This.
Right. I think
this,
so.
this.
I think it's kind of a snowball.
Because if somebody
effect.
hit you with, I think if somebody hit you with a dart of like testosterone that made you feel better,
right,
out of nowhere, that'd probably make you feel a little better. But just that,
dude, I'm
1%, 1%.
I know you're natty or whatever. You know, you're not enhanced.
People think I'm on Ozempic apparently. So,
or have cancer.
Yeah, I picked literally the worst. I picked the worst time to try to get in shape.
When you start taking, synthetic testosterone, that first couple of weeks, I couldn't sit down. Like I was like, I got to do something. You are productive as fuck. Like I wish
that's when you should write your first book. The first 2 weeks of testosterone. I've heard a lot of people say that.
Dude, I feel like I should be a spokesperson for somebody. I mean, seriously, it's that good if you need it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't be dropping a gram a week or nothing. Like a trend twin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's not a magic pill. It's not a magic shot, but it makes things easier. Like, the podcast that you had me listen to from Dr. Mike, that's what he said. It's not a magic weight loss pill or drug or whatever, but it makes it easier.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you're obese or you're, a lazy piece of crap, you feel like shit and you're just running with the status quo, whatever, you might try it because it does make it easier, but it's not foolproof. Like you still have to put in the work,
right? Just
like the Ozempic or the semaglutide or whatever, you still have to put in the work
to get where you want to go.
Yeah. It's like gas for your car. You still got to drive it there and everything where you want it to go, but now you got some gas, so you don't have to push it.
Yeah. I think it also might be just like the testosterone thing for the Ozempic thing. Like it's the first step. And
yeah, for sure. You still have to change your habits though.
Yeah.
I've seen people eat through Ozempic.
A lot of people do.
You know what I mean? I don't know why it's not working. It's because you're still eating.
I think
crap.
I think on it, you and like maybe one other person, the only people I know that do everything you're supposed to do and use that as a bonus.
Oh yeah.
But most people are on, not to be mean, but most people are on it because they don't want to do that.
Oh, for sure. For sure. It's the easy.
They don't want to track calories or anything like that.
It's the easy way out.
But here's the thing. I'm not judging. I'm not. Last time when I said I'm going to be nicer to people, I didn't really mean it because it was a joke. But now I really, because it was like kind of a joke.
Oh,
because you were like looking at me like you're going to be a dick to people. I know you are.
Right.
But
was that like your New Year's resolution?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm going to be nicer to people.
But it's come in a weird way where I've had just like, I hate to use this word, but I've had just like grace with people. Like if this is what you want to do,
for sure.
If this is what you want to do.
At the end of the day, it is their. Here's the other thing. You know what I mean?
Here's the other thing. We're all going to die. In 100 years, nobody's going to remember who you are.
Right.
And the people that are making fun of you for being fat, they're going to die too.
For sure.
So I really don't, I guess like I don't want to sound like a cynic. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, well, who cares? It's actually more freeing. Like that's the thing with people. You're asking permission for people to do whatever you want, or not whatever you want, but how do I want to frame it? Like the thing that you're worried about doing, you don't want to do it because of a certain person. Maybe people won't put a name on that person, but there's somebody,
right?
They're scared to do something they want to do because this person will think this.
Right.
But once you realize that
it doesn't really fucking matter.
We're going to die. If you zoom out a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Get that other perspective.
if somebody wants to do this diet, if somebody wants to do this hobby,
You're going to die and you're going to pay taxes.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's the thing. Like it used to upset me where I feel like I'm like letting go a little bit. Like
you got to let go and let God, bro.
But here's the thing is, this is what I've been thinking about a lot. This is kind of why I wanted to talk about this is, most people don't care about you or think about you as much as you think they do.
What do you mean by that?
Like, people will say they don't care what people think about them, but that's just how we're wired. We care what other people think.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm not just talking about what shoes we wear, but you ever have a conversation with somebody and then like a couple of weeks later, you kind of like remember like, oh, I hope it didn't offend this person or do that.
Yeah.
Those people aren't thinking about you or that conversation.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So when it really breaks down to it, you should just work on yourself and work on your own emotions and stop trying to worry about what's going on.
Yeah.
Because people have their own issues that they're dealing with. They don't like deep, like when you start losing weight or getting into shape, you kind of think like, oh, how are people going to think about me or see me? They really don't care.
Right.
When people see you lose weight, they're like, you wait till I lose 30 pounds and see what other people think about me.
Yeah.
So everyone's going to die. Nobody actually, besides like your mom, our mom, your spouse, nobody lays in bed thinking about you.
Right. That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So work on yourself.
Yeah. Screw everybody else.
And just do whatever you're going to do.
Yeah. And it, you know,
it's freeing for me to think like that because it's true.
I get that. That makes perfect sense. But, you know, when you were talking about we care what other people think and all this other stuff, like look at social media. Look what people do for reactions or likes.
Yeah. And that's another thing. I had to stop. And people probably, I bet if I was sitting, there was 20 people in this room right now, I'd be the like only one admitting it, because that's another thing. People are scared to admit that they're like vulnerable, or they just think they want to be the smartest person in the room without actually realizing they don't know anything, because it's okay not to know anything.
For sure.
Because that's what humans are. But like, I would do things like, oh, this would make a great picture for this, or do this. And I'd tailor my life based off of an Instagram picture.
Right.
And you want to see these likes, but then you realize that you're just being controlled. Do you actually want to do the thing?
Right.
You don't want to do the thing. You just, as much as you say it's not about the likes, it is. This is kind of like on a deeper level, but I'm guilty of this. But the people who claim to not be super into social media, they post a picture of like their kids, like Easter. But like this, I did this, so I'm bringing it up. So if nobody else has ever done this, then I'm wrong. But
okay.
Like the girls the girls got Easter dresses on. And I'm like, oh, let's take a cute picture and like post it. And then I was like going out of my way to do this, but I'm like, I'll just take a picture and keep it on my phone.
Yeah.
Instead of like worry about what all these people that don't think about me at night that are going to die in 100 years are doing.
Right.
Or, well, why do I care what they want?
It's funny you say that, because before we even talked about doing this podcast or anything, I think it was earlier this week or maybe last week. I was driving, just driving in Mansfield, nothing going on. And I'm thinking to myself, I thought about something about posting to my Instagram story. Mm-hmm.
And
then I quickly had this revelation that why the fuck would I even post to my Instagram story? Like, none of these people give a flying fuck what I'm doing.
Right.
Right. And I don't really.
But you don't mean that in a cynical way, like nobody likes me. You mean it as like,
no, not
truly nobody.
No, truly nobody cares. Right.
Because would you care to watch your own Instagram story back?
I mean, I do.
Well,
much
you
my
do, but you know what I mean by that.
Yeah, but yeah, I had that kind of revelation, like, because everybody's like, oh, you need followers and blah, blah, but then I kind of got deep with myself and I was like, it doesn't fucking matter, but I know that we're tied to social media because we do this podcast, and really, like, we don't have big sponsors. We're not monetized on YouTube.
Right.
We kind of do this because we enjoy it.
Yeah.
Not because we're like, hey, click on this shit and watch, I don't care who sees this.
And that was part of the New Year's resolution thing where, like, I just felt like I was chasing an algorithm that I didn't need to be chasing.
You were pretty deep into that.
And it's cool to look at.
For sure.
I got into it and
all
I'm
the
like,
analytics are cool because it's real time. Like, oh, people are watching that. Like, it is
it's a drug. It's a drug though.
Yeah, for
it was
sure.
my drug.
It's definitely
for sure
addicting. And you were definitely into it more than me because you would send me stuff like, oh, dude, look at this. You know, look at this.
It's and the way that social media had me and everybody wired is it's like a slot machine in Vegas.
For sure.
And then you put something up there and then you get like 1,000 views and you're like,
right.
Oh,
you're
1,000.
And then you're
like,
trying to hit that jackpot.
And you're like, I could hit the jackpot.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And once I started thinking of it as a slot machine,
yeah.
I got disgusted with myself. I'm like, what?
And I guess that was kind of my revelation the other day, just driving.
Yeah.
It wasn't as deep as that, but it was like, nobody cares.
Right.
Like, what? I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might post more like I did when we went to Florida and we had pictures of the kids and at the Gulf of America, which is awesome, by the way. I didn't even put that on my Instagram. I put it on my Facebook. I think it's more for like close friends and family.
Get convoluted with stop posting.
Yeah, no.
But I mean, stop doing things you don't want to do for the post.
Yeah, for the post. Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, don't let it change. Like, it's cool for family and friends to see, hey, he's having fun in Florida.
Yeah, for
you want
sure.
people to know that? That's totally fine.
Yeah. Well, and actually, people saw that, and then other people in Florida, friends and family, were like, oh, hey, you're in Florida. And then we ended up meeting up with people.
Oh, there you go.
So, I mean, it was cool.
I just mean chasing that high that shouldn't exist.
Right.
And that's why I think I could feel myself not being authentic anymore, especially with trying to plan episodes.
For sure.
And it just gets to the point where I want to go back and be able to watch my old episodes, even if it's just an archive of us talking,
right? Just
me and you. And like, our kids are going to watch it one day.
For sure. My kids already watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess I would rather do that. Just me and you talk, even if one other person listens.
Yeah.
Then just chase this like thing.
Right.
And I think it gets a lot of people just wrapped up in nothingness.
For sure. And, I said that we do this podcast because we enjoy it, and that is true. And I'm not telling you guys like, you don't need to watch us or whatever, but like, I feel like we do hit on some hard subjects, with what we talk about, and we can relate to some people.
Mm-hmm.
So if we have helped you, or, if you've reached out to us or whatever, like, keep doing that. Like, cause we do it for you too. Like,
yeah.
And we appreciate the support, but like I said, we're not out here getting rich doing this shit,
right.
And I don't, we've had a kind of a little break. It's been like a month and a half,
a couple months,
2 months since we've done like a regular episode. But we enjoy it. I think the disconnect was good. Cause we both have families.
Mm-hmm.
We got kids in school, this, that, and whatever, running all over the place. But I think it's therapeutic for us too to talk about all this. Like, I was never.
It also gives us an excuse to hang out and talk.
Yeah, right. Go do a podcast. All right,
you guys go and do it. One of the other things I'm learning that I've heard a lot of people talk about as in the self-mastery kind of world
Yeah.
is cutting out shit instead of adding shit.
Okay. Give me
Just
some
kind of
like, what have you cut out?
saying no more often.
You've cut that out, or
No, I've
or-
implemented that, but I guess it's trimming the fat
okay.
in a way. But say there's something somebody really wants to do, or they want to start a business, but they don't have time, right?
Okay.
You have to tell yourself, okay, what does my day look like? Well, if I'm gonna start a business or start a side hustle or start a new hobby, I have to cut out Netflix, or I have to stop saying yes to everything I don't want to say yes to. You know what I mean? If somebody's like, hey, you want to come over and help me do this, and you truly don't want to, try not lying and just say, I don't know.
Right.
I don't want to.
Right.
And that's the other thing is not lying, because there's there's a tolerance I think people have with lying.
Yeah.
When somebody says you want to come over and hang out and you say, no, I'm busy, and you're not, you don't feel like you're lying to them. You just feel like you're sparing them.
Right.
But just try saying no.
Right.
That's what I've tried. And not being honest to people who didn't ask. That's not what I mean. Like, you're fat. Shout out to Benjamin Almeida. Hey, you're fat. But honestly, that's what I'm trying to do. And not in an asshole kind of way.
Right. But that, like, either
so
you
if
don't want to or you don't have time.
Yeah. I guess it's in a way so if I tell you, if I'm truthful with you all the time and I'm an asshole about it, like, hey, you want to come over? No, I have nothing planned today and I want to keep it that way.
Yeah.
And then I tell you yes, I want to come over.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But just cutting out processes of, like, when you realize you're doom scrolling, like I do quite a bit when I'm doom scrolling on Instagram, there was the one big thing that I have to do that I'm putting off doing it. And then you realize when you finally do it, it takes less time to do it than it took for you to worry about doing it.
Right. For sure.
And I'm trying to just get the things done. And in turn, I'm just better for it. I feel
well, you feel more productive,
Feel more productive, yeah.
You feel like you actually did something, instead of sitting there on the couch doom scrolling or whatever. I totally get that. But I think, even more of a, you were talking about telling people no, but dude, when I started my career in the fire service, like overtime or extra details or whatever, I couldn't say no because I felt like I had to do everything for this job, right? You were kind of married to the job. And the more I think about it, man, like, I wish I hadn't have done that, because you end up being married to your job and not married to your wife. Not like I didn't get divorced, but it definitely puts a strain on your family. Like, when you're sacrificing your family for your work, I think that's like, you get that sometimes you have to do things, but like when things are like optional and you don't need that overtime check or whatever, like maybe you hang out with your family, I've thought about that to myself, like, because I'm in all these officer classes, and like one day when I become a leader, of some capacity in a department, like, what do I want? I really want to stress to my people, like, I want you to put in 100% at work
while you're here.
You're here. But when you're not here, I don't want you to think about this place.
Yeah.
To enjoy your family life and do all the things that you need to do outside of work.
What does it take to get to the point where you actually start believing that? Because I'm sure you've heard that 100 times.
Like, I feel like that I'm living that now.
Oh, you're not at work 100% of the time.
I know, but
we're talking, and so that's good.
Yeah.
We're face to face.
I don't know. And I don't know, like I said, if I am ever like, a chief or something someday, I want to be very upfront to my people about that, because like work is not everything. You know,
Mhm.
yeah, it's a, you know, safety forces, whatever. It's a vital role. Like, yeah, I want you to show up at work, but like all the extra stuff,
Yeah.
you know, don't be killing yourself because it's going to ruin
It's going to ruin all your
it's
relationships.
going to ruin all your relationships. And you're going to feel like crap
But when you're young, you think you can.
when you're young.
That's never going to.
I guess you can do it a little bit more, especially if you don't have kids.
Well, that's your time to grind.
yeah. Grind when you're young.
But you have to,
You know?
I guess you have to know when to stop grinding. Maybe that's the hard part, to turn it off. Because
and
up until you had a wife and kids, that's just what you did.
right. And that's just what it is.
That was just you.
And it took a while to turn it off, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't know. I guess I just missed my family
Mm-hmm.
so much, you know. I don't know. I guess everybody's different, but like I said, I want to be very upfront with at least my people if I'm ever in that position one day. Yeah, hey, put in 100, 110% every day that you're here. But when you're gone, don't think about, like, my department now, I've relies on a lot of like call-in stuff, like for calls. Dude, I don't want you to sit there and watch your phone when you're at home. If there's a big incident going on, like, shut it off.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be disconnected because you have to try to, you know, live some normalcy. Even though we only work 2 days a week, you know, it's still 48 hours.
Yeah.
Right. At the minimum. And I saw some kind of, like I'm a big mental health advocate now, you know what I mean? Talk to people, whatever. But I saw a little like thing on Instagram the other day, like the average person will go through like 4 traumatic incidents in their lifetime, and a first responder can go through up to like 4,000
Oh yeah.
incidents in their life, maybe more, who knows,
Mm.
depending on what is traumatic, you know.
Yeah, you're literally asking for it.
You know, so you need that time to like de-stress, decompress, be with your family, and do all the things that normal people do, and not live in the firehouse.
Well, now that we both don't drink nearly as much as we used to,
Yeah.
do you think that there's different ways people can decompress than deferring all of those feelings
Into a bottle.
and yeah, and I've said this before, like to you, probably off mic, but it was just normal. And I don't know, I guess it's because we weren't drinking and crying and talking about calls where we thought we weren't really like
Right.
deferring
And
any.
I've never done that.
Yeah, it's
But I've never felt like I had to either.
I never felt like I had to either.
Like, yeah.
I think that's what people think that I meet, or I don't want to misconstrue it with like I had to drink to get rid of my demons, but it was just so normal, like not working, drinking,
for sure.
you know?
Well, and it was almost like
It's a escapism.
it's like an escapism thing, but I
But
also feel like I felt like I was 2 different people at work. So at work, you are just you're in the view of the public, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to be professional. Hopefully you're professional. I can't stand people that aren't professional in front of citizens, but that's a whole nother thing. But you have to be professional, you know, people's lives are in your hands, yada, yada, yada. Right. When you get home, I feel like you can kind of turn that off. Right. So like if you want to be a smart ass and if you want to be a jackass that week or whatever, you're like that to your wife or your family or whatever. Right. Like you have all this shit built up. And you kind of just release it on them because that's your safe place, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least that's how I recognized it.
That's how it is.
You know what I mean?
It's not, and it's totally not your place to do that.
Oh no. You know, me and Erica, dude, we've never had like a knockout drag out fight, but like the bickering back and forth and like when you get home, you're already walking on thin ice. You know what I mean? Like just one stupid thing that's very insignificant would set you off, like, and you pissed off the rest of the day. Like, but you can't be like that at work.
Yeah.
Right.
So why are you like that at home?
Right. And I thinking back, not that I thought this way, but this is just the way that I kind of broke it down, kind of like looking from the outside in, like, oh, maybe that's your safe place. Like,
Yeah.
nothing, you can't get fired at home.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're not in the public at home. So you can be
That's actually a very profound.
you know what I mean? And that's how I've thought about it, I guess. But yeah, dude,
But you have to course correct too, because it's just like when we started the episode or started talking, I've always been into this stuff, but never implemented it. You know what I mean? Like
definitely.
I would recognize that I was
definitely
dumping my shit off when I got home,
Yeah.
but I didn't do anything about it. I just kept doing it.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm like, oh, I need to control my emotions. And then I'm like, yelling. I'm like, so if you can't just try to do it in practice, then why are you talking about it and reading about it and, trying to learn the same lesson over and over again?
And I think, I think it's hard. It's really hard to figure it out because you talked about like taking the first step and, you can read about, signs and symptoms and what you need to do. But even by yourself, it's hard to figure out how to get there.
Yeah.
You could start with something, but then like just to keep going and like some reassurance, I guess.
Yeah. And that's the thing about self-mastery though, is nobody can tell you if it's working or not. There's no direct, you have all these inputs, but all the inputs are going into yourself. Like if me and you work on something and we take all the inputs towards an output, we're like, okay, we did the thing. We did it. But if you just work on yourself, if you just work on your emotions and don't post about them or don't,
dude,
people want that immediate feedback. We just want that as humans. I'm not saying that's like a generational thing.
No, it's not.
But I caught myself taking pictures of books that I really didn't want to read because I wanted people to think that I'm reading them.
Like you're fucking smart or something?
Yeah. Like
I took a picture of a book and posted it on Instagram the other day.
Did you read it?
Some of it.
See,
I was actually doing homework though.
Well, you're doing homework.
I was doing homework on vacation.
I'm not saying
I was kind of salty about it.
I didn't read said book because I did. I just mean like things like I want people to perceive me in a certain way.
Right. Like, oh, he's some higher, not a higher power, but like, look, you wanted people to look up to you and be like, yeah,
but
he's fucking reading.
But here's the thing. We'll go back to
it's
it.
a fucking
I knew.
picture book.
I knew. You know what I mean?
You
like,
knew
that
you didn't want to fucking read that book.
Yeah.
But you wanted this gratification. Like, I read that book. Who the fuck cares?
Yeah. Nobody actually cares.
So
I guess, just
a little spitball. I know you weren't there and it's kind of on subject, but it just popped in my head. Like mom and dad are coming up on their, it's gotta be what? 40th wedding anniversary? Huh?
Is it?
It's got to be because
they had their 25th when I left for basic training in 2010.
So listen, they were married before me. I'm going to be 38 this year.
That was 15 years ago.
I'm going to be 38 this year.
Yeah.
So it's got to be 40th,
that's
right?
40, yeah.
So, dad wanted to have this like 40th wedding anniversary party and invite all their friends and have it catered and spend all this money, even though dad's a tightwad. And mom is just like, I want to go on an Alaskan cruise. I want to go to Hawaii, which they have the money to do that. Dad acts like he's broke, and that's probably why he's not broke. But
yeah,
I told mom, I was like, just book the trip. I said, honestly, nobody, like, it's great that you guys have been married for 40 years, but nobody fucking cares. Like all these people that dad wants to invite.
Yeah.
And I haven't told him this yet, and I hope he listens to the episode, but nobody fucking cares.
Yeah.
Like people care. People don't care.
People don't care. People care, but not past the good for them.
Yeah, good for them. And then it's over, right? Yeah. That's so, you guys should go spend that time together without all of us and go spend your money on yourselves.
Yeah.
Go to Hawaii.
Reinvest in the reason that you're married for 40 years.
And this was like last month, I think. We were talking, I was at her house or whatever. And I pulled out my like Travelocity app. I was like, let's fucking book a trip.
Yeah.
I said, if you just book it, he's got to go.
Yeah.
right? So now they're going on an Alaskan cruise.
Life's too short. Are they actually doing that?
I think so. That's what she told me.
Life's too short, man.
Exactly. Like, well, and that's what she was worried about. She's like, he's saving all this money for retirement, but she's afraid that once Dad actually retires, which is, I think he's slated to do that in 2000. Never.
I knew that was coming.
They're not going to be able to do all these things and travel because they're going to be so old, you know.
Yeah.
So do the things, not do the things. You know what I mean? But yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Do the things for yourself, not other people.
Yeah. That's a perfect example to pretty much everything that we've been talking about.
It was cool because it just kind of tied all in, you know?
But like I'm saying, this is stuff you can work on every single day.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. There's not immediate feedback, whether
There's
it's
not
working or
immediate
not.
feedback, you know, and even especially, I know we've talked a lot about weight loss, but especially with weight loss, it's like, you're not going to see this shit overnight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just these little things. And I'm going to tell you what, like, I don't eat like shit all the time, but I still have some treats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not eating broccoli and fucking chicken every day.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I don't really eat vegetables.
I eat some vegetables.
I don't care.
You know?
You think that drives me crazy since we're talking about fitness again?
We need just a sidetrack here. We definitely need a little like screenshot. Like when we get into these, like, you know, what really grinds my gears.
People will almost plead with you on the things that they're not willing to give up, as if like basically when people tell you who they are, you should believe them. When people say, I will never be this size, believe them, because they won't be when they say that. That's how I was with you, even
For sure. Yeah.
when you're like, I'll never do this. Okay. It's kind of like saying with that attitude, but in the realest sense, like,
right.
Okay, then.
Well, and honestly,
then you
dude,
won't.
I lived so long, a gigantic fat ass. that
Throwing gigantic or like one or the other is fine, but saying them both together seems like a double.
Why? Gigantic fat ass?
It's just-
You could just be a fat ass,
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. But you live so long that that's who you are.
Yeah. You just accept it.
I did. But then you don't, I don't know. You don't think that it's real.
Mm.
Like to go to the opposite. And like I said, I'm still not there. Like, I hope I get flamed on this shit that he's still fucking fat. Like that'll fucking drive me. So please do.
I think that stopped. That's what I was going to say, that the negative stuff stopped fueling me so much that
What do you mean?
like I'm to the point where I need to like everything that I'm doing has to come from within, because like outside stuff,
You don't care.
I don't care anymore. That's the thing. I need like, I used to like grasp for things like, yeah, tell me this and I'll get angry. But
Right.
now I either just agree with you or disagree. Like if I said you had green hair, you'd be like,
Dude, I don't have any hair.
you'd be like, okay. But if I'm like, the truths that hurt the worst are the ones we believe ourselves. Or the insults that hurt the worst are the ones we actually believe ourselves. So
Yeah, that's true.
usually when somebody tells you something and you believe it, just tell them they're right.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean?
Take it and walk away.
But I was going to say, like, the thing that people say, like, oh man, if you need help, I'll help you out. Just start by not drinking Mountain Dew or whatever. They're like, but that's what I do. I have two Mountain Dews a day. They're like, we'll try one. Like, no, I have two. And it's like, why are we arguing? You don't want it bad enough, so let's
Cool. Drink your fucking Mountain Dew.
don't waste energy. Just for the record, I drink like 3 Diet Mountain Dews a day. So I'm just saying,
Dude, I haven't really been drinking any pop. It's kind of crazy.
why would you need pop?
Dude, I haven't been drinking these a lot. This is just a higher caliber necessity.
It's like that Rich Piana. This is a treat.
Yeah.
I'm not cheating on my diet. This is a treat for myself. Okay, so just to like go over the bullet points, no one's gonna remember you in 100 years.
Right.
Be nice to yourself. Or don't, because nobody gives a shit. That's what I'm saying.
Don't self-harm though. Like, don't cut.
No, I'm not saying cut.
Don't
I'm
be
just
cutting
saying,
yourself. Can I even do that?
do something 1% different than you did yesterday.
Just be a little bit better.
Well, just a little bit better.
A little bit. It's just, and honestly, like I said, I still eat some shit sometimes. Not in the quantities.
But
Like I ate 3 fucking donuts over the last 48-hour shift that I just worked because they brought in 6 dozen motherfucking donuts.
dude, that's like 700 calories.
I know, but still,
In 2 days.
I felt like a fat ass for eating 3 fucking donuts in 2 days. Anyway, but it's still it's the consistency, and it's just those small changes.
I think what consistency, people think you have to be a perfectionist every day.
I'm not a fucking perfectionist.
What consistency means is you mess up, you just try again.
Yeah.
And that's, I think the problem is what we're dealing with is cynicism, because I think there's a quote that says, the cynics are always right and the optimists are always rich.
Yeah.
Cause like they have this scenario where like you tell your friends, I'm going to marry this girl, and they say, no, you're not. And they're right. I'm going to marry this one. No, you're not. And they're right. And then on the 10th one, they're all wrong.
Right.
They were wrong 90% of the time, but on that time that it mattered, they were right 90% of the time.
They were right 90% of the time.
But on the time that it mattered, they were wrong. And that's how it is with people, like with businesses. It's the audacity to keep doing it and keep doing it.
Keep grinding.
I mean, it is, no matter which way you spin it, you just keep doing the thing.
Keep doing the thing.
Even when people are laughing at you, and
if it doesn't work out, you get a new girlfriend and you keep going.
So that's the thing about, right. That's the thing about procrastination. And this is the way I see it. People say they want to do a thing,
right?
Whether it's a podcast, a business, whatever it is. Say, I'm going to do this. And they don't start because they're a perfectionist.
Yeah.
I think that's bullshit, because you're not a perfectionist. The real perfectionist is the person that starts, fails, starts, adjusts,
right?
Switches, adjusts, keeps going, because it has to be perfect. They want to make it perfect while they're working on it.
You're not going to be, like we talked about, you're not going to be a master or a perfectionist.
Yes. They're starting the sculpture, but I always hear this bullshit like, when I do this, I'm going to do it right. But in the back of their head, they're like, so-and-so would call me stupid for that. Even though they won't admit it because they're adults.
Right.
But they know there's a group of people.
There's somebody out there.
And if they would say it out loud, maybe it would help them. But they're like, I have OCD. I'll get there. But it's going to be perfect. Just like I'm going to start that perfect P90X thing, and I'll have the perfect groceries, and everything's just going to be perfect. And I'll do it in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm going to sound like Jocko. You never moved. It's my favorite one. But you have to start.
Yeah.
And it's just everything in life. You have to start.
Yeah.
And it drives me crazy, but I'm not going to yell at these people anymore, because if you don't want to start it, don't do it.
Right.
I don't care anymore.
Don't care. So you're going to die just like me.
You're going to die. Zoom out.
Right.
That's my new favorite thing. Zoom out. Just hold that thought, because I'm going to lose mine.
Okay.
But that Alex Ramosi guy was talking about, like, every time there's a problem, he just tells people, you can't see Earth on Google Maps when you zoom out far enough.
Can't?
If you zoom out far enough, you can't see the Earth.
Wow. I have Apple Maps, so I've never been on there.
I don't. You get it though, right?
I get it.
What does that mean to you? Like,
it's insignificant.
It's insignificant.
Yeah.
You just want to die with a bunch of regrets. Like, I could have done this thing, but I was worried about what Tom was thinking and I was in my 40s. I don't know why I was worried about him. He's going to die in 100 years too.
Yeah.
Probably already dead.
Probably already dead. R.I.P. Tom.
Sorry.
Yeah. Who, before we wrap it up, or we can, start wrapping up, but what was there something that made you kind of realize that you were just you need to be about yourself and not other people?
I don't know. Something happened, but I don't know what it was. I feel like I just woke up one day.
Just woke up one day and was like, fuck it.
I've had a lot of those wake up one day and say, fuck it, but it comes from the wrong place.
For sure.
It comes from, it's an ulterior motive where
for sure. Yeah.
Like, why is it that when I wake up and say, fuck it, I want to post about it? That's not
right.
You're not doing it. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm changing for other people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Some of them, a lot of them that I've changed for have been for the better, for what I care about, what people think of me. It's not always the worst thing ever, but like to its core, you're still doing, like, even like with buying guns, just in our case, do you want the gun or do you want it because other people will see that you have it? The Stanley
SB5.
No, that's different.
Oh, sorry.
You're the dude with all the HKs. The Stanley Thermos. I know you bitches don't drink that much water. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
yes. You clink this thing down on the table because you see everybody else on Facebook have it. It's keeping up with the Joneses. It's been said a million times, but it's true. You don't even drink water, bitch.
Right. Now, I have this Yeti with the screw top thingy. I take that everywhere. Different. I like that thing. Anyway, doesn't fit in a cup holder though.
You get my point.
Kind of wish it fit in a cup holder. I don't know.
But you get my point.
I get your point because you're keeping up with the Joneses. You just said that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. That's the way we fucking are, dude.
I guess from moving on, I want to just be.
That's why influencers are a thing.
Yeah. And let them make their money. That's fine. I just want to be authentic, like moving forward. And I want to tell the truth, die without secrets, and just.
You're going to die without secrets?
That's how I want to die, is without secrets.
Damn. Can't wait to hear the secrets.
It's not telling people what you think about them and being a flippant asshole. It's just.
Oh, yeah.
If somebody asks you a question, tell them the truth.
Tell the truth. It's going to be a new higher caliber.
Tell the truth.
We're going to make shirts.
They will set you free.
That's true.
So yeah. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Hey, thanks for
it's been a really good conversation. We should do this more often.
Yeah, for sure. More episodes coming.
All right, man.
All right, dude.
See ya.
Later, y'all.